Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Carolina Pro Football Report on ADSN. I'm Charles Arbuckle, and usually Colin Cole is with me, but he's on assignment. So listen, guys, we all know where you are, right? Carolina Panthers are 0-2, trying to find a way to get a win. So it's a business trip to take on the LA Chargers, which that offense is really starting to get rolling. And my favorite city, because I went to UCLA, and I just like California. But before we get into that, the NFL fraternity lost a great one in Gale Sayers. First time ballot Pro Football Hall of Famer, just an awesome person. And anybody that you talked to talked about what a great guy he was out of Kansas. If you remember the movie Brian Song, it made all of us cry. It was such a profound movie with he and Brian Piccolo as the Chicago Bears running backs. Unfortunately, Gale Sayers later in his life developed dementia, and he and his wife Artie were fighting the league on that. But I do want to send our condolences to Gale Sayers, the family, and the NFL fraternity for the loss that we've had this past week. So when you look at the Los Angeles Chargers, and watch me, I may almost say San Diego Chargers. I got to catch myself. You probably are out at home doing that as well. But the Los Angeles Chargers, let's think about what they've had to go overcome, really. Tyrod Taylor was the starting quarterback. And this is going to be a little bit of a controversial thing. I don't think Tyrod's going to bring it up. His agents may be talking about it behind the scenes, but you know as NFL players, when you have an injection to play and then it punctures your lungs and you have to go to the hospital and you're going to miss some games, that's not a good thing. But fortunately, and that's a whole nother topic I'm sure we'll talk about from week to week here on Pro Football Report. But the one thing that I do like is that Justin Herbert, the rookie out of Oregon, came in and played well. You saw those guys in Hard Knocks. The Rams and the Chargers were both featured, and you could tell right away that this team was going to really enjoy having a guy like Justin Herbert who can spin the rock. So Justin Herbert, the rookie, is able to come in when they found out that Tyrod Taylor couldn't play, and they were playing the Kansas City Chiefs, who you know Patrick Mahomes was on point. The big thing with this game, though, is that Justin Herbert was able to find open weapons. He was able to make plays, and that game really came down to the wire. Even though Los Angeles lost 20-23, it was a really close game, and I think this Chargers team is getting better, and you're going to see that when they come in here and they play the Panthers. Now, one of the things, too, is if there's a little rivalry from Miami, some Miami high school stuff going on. Teddy Bridgewater and Denzel Perriman played in high school against each other, one at Northwestern, Miami Northwestern, the other at Coral Gables. They've always had battles, and it might end up getting to the point where Teddy needs that W. He always used to beat Denzel, so let's get Denzel's Perriman's take on that rivalry going back to their Miami high school football days.
It was a throwing fest, man. I would say in high school it wasn't, too good on my end. We lost clearly, but it was I don't know, man. It wasn't good. I can just say it wasn't good on my end. Like he threw for I can't tell you how many yards, and he rushed for a couple as well. So, like I said, he's just like that dual triple threat quarterback to me.
So no fun memories playing against Teddy?
Nah, ain't no fun memories at all. Like, no whatsoever.
All right, so that Charger defense, you can hit Denzel Perriman all over the field. The University of Miami star playing well. And that defense is depleted. Remember, if you watch Hard Knocks, Derwin James, who I think is one of the best young up-and-coming players, if he can stay healthy at safety, is out for the season with the knee injury. So, listen, Carolina fans know where they are, right? You're 0-2, but think about this. There are 11 teams that have started 0-2 and tied for the most in NFL history. And, oh, by the way, over the last 30 seasons, since 1990, 30 teams have overcome 0-2 starts to secure playoff berths. And take this a step further. Out of those teams, 3 of them won Super Bowls. You know who those teams were? If we were doing quizzes, we'd give you one, but I'm going to give you the information. Dallas, New England, and the New York Giants. So it's interesting now. We don't want to think that far ahead, right? If you're a team in that position, being in those locker rooms like I have before, you're not thinking, hey, how do I get to the Super Bowl? You're thinking about winning football games. So we had a chance to catch up with a bunch of different players to kind of get their take on what it was going to take.
Joe, so much more technical. Man, he can do a little bit of everything. And Mel, it's a freakish athlete. Man, they both are 2 different monsters. But I mean, an incredible challenge, something that I'm definitely looking forward to this Sunday.
Nothing's gonna change. I'm gonna go out there, try to win all one-on-one matchups, try to find the zone, and just give a quarterback an outlet. Try to make plays and help this offense get going. It's all about winning. Our job is to stay on the field, get first downs, and score touchdowns.
I think Phil and the defensive staff is finding a way to just keep us in it. And I think we'll get better and better and better. And I think this week, our guys are understanding, hey, we've got to go get sacks. And that means we have to be able to blitz and execute the blitzes properly. But we also are going to have to rush 4. But if that means we got to, rush 2 and drop 9 into coverage, if that's going to let us win, then, we're going to do whatever it takes to win. And
let's get into our thin energy, give me the ball segment to find out who is most likely to be Joe Brady's main ingredient. Now, some people may think it's Teddy Bridgewater, but I'm going to go with Mike Davis. And the reason why, when you lose Christian McCaffrey, you've got to have a young man like Mike Davis and Teddy Bridgewater to make plays. Now, Mike Davis, if you remember that name, if you've been in the Carolinas like a lot of you have, he's the younger brother of former Clemson star James Davis. Now, James, I remember covering him in college, great player, didn't have the pro career he wanted. Mike, on the other hand, was struggling on the Seattle Seahawks practice squad, finally got a chance to play, parlayed that into a nice raise to go to the Chicago Bears. That didn't work out, but now he's here with the Carolina Panthers, and he's shown that he can make some plays for this offense. So I think it's going to be real key between him, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and I still say the tight end group has to step up in order for this team to be successful because of all the offense that they lost with Greg Olsen leaving. So you can't get through the air without really having a ground game. And Christian McCaffrey is going to be out for about 3 weeks. So it's going to be imperative that Mike Davis and Trenton Cannon, the backup running back, do their job while Christian McCaffrey is out. Now, on the other side, if you look at this Carolina Panther defense, Brian Burns had 2 tackles for loss in week 2. First career game that's happened for him. And he's played well on the road. Now, they're going to need a big game from him. They're traveling from east to west, which is always a little bit of a problem. But Dante Jackson has to play well as well. This team for the Los Angeles Chargers runs the ball effectively. They've got Austin Eckler, Joshua Kelly as well, and this Justin Herbert kid has really started to show that he can play the game. Keenan Allen is only 7 catches away from passing Kellen Winslow, one of my all-time favorite tight ends. So the big key for the Panthers defense is this. You've got to make sure you stop the run. They're going to run the football to set up the pass. They've got a young quarterback. They want to protect him well. That offensive line has done a pretty nice job. The key with Justin Herbert, just like Tyrod Taylor, is if he gets in trouble, he can scramble and evade rush. You've got to keep him contained and make sure he does not get outside the pocket. So it's going to be a big day for that Carolina defensive front. They've got to get pressure, which they haven't seemed to have been able to do the last few weeks. And the run defense has to play better. Those linebackers have to continue to make plays, and we're going to keep an eye on that throughout the rest of the season. So you can tell with the season coming along and no preseason, there are some things that are happening. So I'm going to give you the pain stopper injury report right now. And Christian McCaffrey, as we know, is out on short-term injury reserve, so he'll be out a few weeks. K'Wan Short didn't practice at times this week. Dennis Daly was also limited in practice, and Russell Okung showed up on the injury report as well. So all of those guys are questionable besides Christian McCaffrey. So we'll see who they have available, but whoever's able to play has to make plays for you. All right, so you got an 0-2 team with the Panthers, right? And you know if you're the Panthers, you can't go to 0-3. You can't. That plane ride will be way too long. Season's not over, but you really need to find a way to win in Los Angeles. So I'm going to give you my 3 keys for the game, and they're simple. Replace McCaffrey production. You got to do that. This is a guy that's been the workhorse of your offense, has done a lot of different things in the run game and the pass game. You got to find that. Mike Davis is going to replace him as a running back. You got to find the other weapons, and I think Teddy will do a good job there. Contain Austin Eckler. And I should put an asterisk here also, Joshua Kelly as well, because they've got a 2-headed tandem at the running back position, and the Panthers have struggled against the run. And lastly, pressure Justin Herbert. Very simple, but the Panthers haven't done it. 0 sacks in the first 2 games. So if you get those 3 keys, you win this game. It may be ugly. It may not be good, but on the road, it doesn't matter how you win. I used to always say when you travel on the road, you bring a toothbrush, you bring deodorant, and you bring a clean pair of underwear and let the team give you everything else. You don't need anything because it's a true business trip. You go as light as you can because you're going to come back victorious. So the Panthers at 0-2 want to get to 1-2, and those are the keys to help them do that. We're happy to bring you every single week the Carolina Pro Football Report on ADSN. Check us out on all of our websites and everywhere. And you can also see my show, Chopping It Up with Buck, as well. We drop every Tuesday, and we have a great time talking to folks from all across, celebrities from everywhere, football, basketball, everything, you name it. Check it out. See you next week on the Carolina Pro Football Report on ADSN.